So there's this monologue that's been making huge waves online, and it's built around this really bold prophecy: a big collapse is coming. It's a fascinating idea because it completely flips our whole notion of success and failure on its head. It suggests that going through years of suffering might actually be a sign that you're about to win. So what exactly is this prophecy all about? Let's break down the core ideas, straight from the source.
Okay, this one sentence, this is the key to the whole thing. It's not just about getting even, it's about a complete rebalancing of the cosmic scales. The message here is that a day of reckoning is absolutely coming for those who seem to prosper while others suffered. And it's not presented as a maybe, but as a spiritual certainty.
So how does this prophecy actually work? Well, it all starts with a simple but really powerful idea. The world is divided into two groups. You have the chosen, and you have the others. And according to this belief system, you are on one of two very different paths, and knowing which one is the key to understanding everything that comes next.
Now, when you hear the term the chosen, you probably think of someone with a lot of privilege, someone on an easy path. But in this prophecy, it is the exact opposite. The chosen are actually identified by their immense suffering. All the pain, the loss, that feeling of being a total outcast. Their hardship isn't a sign they failed. It's presented as the very mark of their spiritual importance.
And wow, the contrast here could not be more clear. On one side, you have experiences like sleeping in your car, losing everything, being looked at like a loser. And on the other side, it's the perfect house, the car, the career, a life where it seems like they have everything they could ever want. This huge divide between a life of suffering and a life of comfort, that's the central conflict that this prophecy promises it's going to resolve.
So this deep division sets the stage for the prophecy's main event, the big collapse. This is that moment of reversal that's been predicted, the point where the seemingly perfect lives of the others finally begin to fall apart.
And the source is very specific about the timing. This isn't some event happening way off in the future. The claim is that the collapse has already started. It's predicted to get much worse this year with a lot of tears, and it's supposed to continue right on through the next. This sense of urgency is a really crucial part of the prophecy's power.
So what's the spiritual logic behind this collapse? This quote really gets to the heart of it. The idea is that any kind of success you build without a divine foundation, well, it's like a house built on sand. It might look strong from the outside, but underneath it, it's incredibly fragile, and it's just destined to fall the second the winds change. But here's where things get really fascinating. The monologue insists this whole collapse isn't about simple revenge or payback. No, it's presented as a spiritual process with a much deeper purpose. It's something called refinement.
And this is a really critical point. The chosen are told that this collapse is not about them getting justice for all the wrongs they've suffered. In fact, the source says they will never see justice for that. Instead, the collapse is a divine process of refinement for the others. It's about forcing them to go through the same kind of spiritual fire that the chosen have already survived.
And this is just a brilliant way to explain that concept. The collapse is framed like a tough but necessary farming process. You can't grow anything new in old, hard ground. You first have to break it all up, you gotta dig out all the old stuff and bring in fresh soil. So the collapse is seen as that breaking of the ground.
So, to put it plainly, refinement here is defined as a kind of forced purification. It's God cleaning them up, making them walk through the same fire that the chosen already have. It's about creating a chance for a new beginning, but only after everything has been completely torn down.
The prophecy doesn't just stick to abstract ideas either. It gets into very specific, observable signs that the collapse is happening. These are presented as concrete evidence for believers to look out for.
And here's a really unique idea. According to the source, the very first warning sign was the chosen themselves. Their public suffering, losing their homes, their jobs, their dignity, was meant to be a billboard, a giant visual warning for the others to see what happens when you're not aligned with God. A warning they apparently just ignored.
Okay, so from there, the collapse is supposed to follow a very clear material pattern. It starts with the house, the very foundation of their stability. Then it moves to their car, their way of getting around. And finally, it hits their finances directly, getting to a point where credit cards are being maxed out just to buy essentials like food.
So if you're one of the chosen and you're watching all of this unfold, how are you supposed to act? The prophecy gives a very specific, and actually very strict, set of instructions on what to do.
These instructions demand some serious spiritual discipline. No gloating, no laughing, no smiling. You absolutely cannot say, "It's justice." The chosen are told to mind your holy business, Deal with your feelings privately in a journal and completely let go of any desire for personal revenge. It's a call for quiet, detached, and holy observation.
And all of that brings us to this one last, really powerful idea to think about. This prophecy completely reframes suffering. It's not a personal failure, but a public warning, a billboard for everyone else. It leaves us with a pretty provocative question. What does it mean for our society when one person's collapse is meant to be someone else's last chance to change course?